Shalom Aleichem. I hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week, a beautiful Yontif, such an amazing, amazing month that we're in, Chodesh Tishrei, from Chag to Chag, from Kedushas Hayom to Kedushas Hayom. Incredible, incredible. This edition of the Isaac Sonian is dedicated by Alex and Odelia Broom, and I have to give Alex a real Hakar Zatov. Years ago, I used to give Divrei Torah on YouTube, on these various forums every so often when I had some moments, and Alex used to be a dedicated listener. And he each reached out to me and says, Rebbe, you should do that every week. Why so infrequently? And it was his push, it was his nudge that kind of enabled me and gave me the push to do it as often as I can. And really, it's Alex's zechus, so I thank him as well. We read Bereshit, Sefer Bereshit. We open up the Chumash once again, and I just want to spend a moment or two looking at the second day. And at the second day, we are told, Vayomer Elokim Hashem says Yirakia b'toch hamayim v'hi mavdil bein mayim l'mayim. Hashem makes the rakia. He's mavdil bein mayim l'mayim. Vayas Elokim es rakia vayavdil bein mayim asher mitach rakia bein hamayim asher me'al rakia vayichem. So Vayikra Elokim l'rakia shamayim vay'er vayivok yom sheni. So on the second day, Hashem makes the rakia, the shamayim, the firmament, and Chazal tell us, Rashi points out, there is no kitov over here. It's the one day you don't have a kitov. And the question is why? And Rabbeinu Bechaye says two ideas, very fundamental ideas. The first idea, he says, is that on the second day, things were created that were not such good things. Not such good things were created. And because of that, we'll come back to that in a second, there is no kitov. What was created? You had machlokes created, you had Gehenim was created, certain forces that were created. We'll come back to that in a second. The other pshat that the Rabbeinu Bechaye gives is that on the second day there's no kitov because the world is here for us to accomplish. And what's created on the second day is rakia, is shamayim, is heavens. And we live in a world of Asiya. The world is for us. Pru irvu umiluas hartz v'kivshua. What's up in Shamayim? That's maybe Olam Haba, that's the afterworld, but that's not the Olam HaAsiya. And the idea of the Bria is for us to go ahead and do, to accomplish, to achieve, and that's not the world of Shamayim, that's not the world of Rakia, and therefore no Kitov. The Kitov is going to be reserved and doubled the next day when we separate between Eretz and Yamim. That's when you have kitov. So that's the second idea. I want to come back to the first. Says Rabbeinu Bechaye that the second day there's no kitov because machlokas was introduced into the world, and he brings a proof. He says, after all, it says vayhi mavdil bein mayim lamayim. So there was a havdalah. Things started to separate from each other. And he points out, he asks the question, well, you have havdalah every day. You have, on the first day of creation, Hashem is mavdil bein or v'choshech, and vayavdil kim bein ha'or bein ha'choshech. So there's havdalah there too. There's havdalah every day. Vayavdil bein hayam ubein hayamim, between the waters and the aretz. That's the third day. So there's a lot of vayavdils. So what's unique about this vayavdil that Chazal understood? Yes, machlok is introduced into the world. And the answer is because, of course, yes, the vayavdil of day one was between or and choshech. The vayavdil of day 3 was between aretz and mayim. Here there's a vayavdil, vayhi mavdil bein mayim lamayim. Mayim and mayim, that's one thing. That's supposed to cleave. That's supposed to connect. That's supposed to be one. That's supposed to have adhesion. And now all of a sudden there's artificial separation, differentiation of things that are supposed to be together. The name, says Rabbeinu Bechaye, sheni, comes from the word shinui, differentiation. Things sometimes are supposed to be together, but this is mishuneh, this is different, this is off. And says Rabbeinu Bechaye, from that day on, from the second day, machlok is introduced into the world, things that are supposed to be together now separated. All of a sudden that becomes now the story of creation. Day 3, not everything went correct. As plant life is being created, it was supposed to be that an apple tree grows, Chazal tell us, and the bark, the eitz and the pri is supposed to be identical in taste, and they weren't. The bark does not have a flavor. The fruit does. That was a deviation, a rebellion, if you will, of the eitz. In day 4, of course, the heavenly bodies, the moon, rebels, so to speak, against the sun. Day 5, you have the Leviathan. One Leviathan dies. There's something a little off in the Bria. And of course, day 6 is the Chet of Adam and Chava. So things start to become disjointed. Differentiation creates disjunction, creates machlokas. That begins on day 2, no kitov. But if you look at the entire picture is to bring man into the world. And what's the mission of man? His ultimate mission is Al Kain, Yazov Ish Esaviv Esimo Vedavak Beishto. 2 differentiated beings, man and woman, will now leave their homes, Davak Beishto Vehayu Lebaser Echad, and will become one. And that's what Shabbos is. Shabbos, the climax of Shabbos is Mincha time, when we daven Ata Echad, V'Shimcha Echad, Umika Amcha Goy Echad Ba'aretz. A time of unity, a time of harmony. The Bria has disunity, has disharmony, has disjunction, has machlokas. Day 2 it starts. No kitov. But it's all building for us to go ahead and create that sense of harmony. Husband and wife, Shabbos Kodesh, to build a universe of harmony. That's what the Bria is building towards. We're a part in that creation. Hashem created with a sense of disjunction. And our mission now is to create harmony, is to use Shabbos, is to use family, husband and wife, the harmony of Shabbos with the Bria all comes together. Spirituality, physicality, that's the goal, that's the objective, and that's the mission. That's all laid out for us here in the creation story. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.